I am seeing an awful lot of people on social media today, including some of my mutuals, who seem to be carrying water for the fascists when it comes to what is happening in Washington, D.C., with Trump's decision to deploy a couple hundred National Guard and also federalize the police for less than 30 days. I realize that it's fairly easy to get in a doom spiral about what Trump is trying to do because he's a would-be dictator trying to do dictator shit in a country that has, up until very recently, been a democracy. And that feels really scary. And also, we are watching so many different sources bombard us with propaganda. That propaganda is designed to make you think that Trump is big, he's all-powerful, he's inevitable, he can do whatever he wants, nobody can stop him. Every terrible, horrible thing that you fantasize, every terrible, horrible thing that he would love to do, he is going to be able to do that. He will be successful at it. And this is why I say so many of y'all are carrying water for the fascists, because you make it sound like Trump is going to be successful doing whatever terrible thing he wants and nobody can stop him, that the end is already here. Y'all are the same people who back in April and then again in June whipped yourselves all up into a panic. Sure that Donald Trump was going to declare martial law, suspend the Constitution, and roll out troops all across the country on particular days. That the day after the hands-off protests, and then again on June 20th, that this was going to happen. Y'all sounded like Nostradamus. But guess what? The world still hasn't ended. And y'all are also the same folks who said when Trump rolled in all of those tanks for his military birthday parade, that was the beginning of the army occupying Washington, D.C. Once they roll in, they'll never roll out. And that did not happen. Your prediction did not come true yet again. And also, we saw the military engage in the most overt malicious compliance. They didn't want to participate in that display. They didn't want to be used as pawns in order to gratify Trump's ego for his birthday. Y'all are the same folks who said when Donald Trump put National Guard and Marines in LA that was the beginning of the complete military occupation of Los Angeles. It would spread all over California. It would spread to New York. It would be every major city in the country. That was the beginning of martial law. That was the beginning of the end. That was the military takeover. And did that happen? Did we watch tens of thousands of troops roll into Los Angeles and occupy the city? No. What we've seen is actually the opposite. We've seen local and state government pushing back. We have seen the people of Los Angeles consistently resisting. They're not rolling over. They're not saying all hope is lost. Oh, Trump now occupies Los Angeles with 300 National Guard members. We better give up. Fascism's here and we're just going to roll over. No, you've seen Los Angeles consistently saying we will defend our rights. We will exercise our rights. We will not tolerate this. I have so much respect for the people of Los Angeles consistently saying, we're not giving up. We're not pretending this is all over. We will not be doomers. We will not roll over and show fascism our belly. Not only have we seen Trump waste $165 million of our taxpayer money for a complete failure of a spectacle, he did not get what he wanted out of that. He's had to pull back troops. We're also seeing the California National Guard themselves don't want to be there. These are people who live in California who don't want to stand up against their neighbors. Their families are pushing back against them. We have loads of reporting. I know I've covered this in the past, that their morale is very low. They don't want to re-enlist. They don't want to be doing this job, and all they're doing is standing around. So once again, y'all's predictions there were wrong. And I think it's important to understand what is happening in DC today has a lot to do with California. It definitely has a lot to do with the Epstein files, because this is absolutely a distraction from the Epstein files. It's also the fact that he's pissed off that one of Elon Musk's little Shitler youths got beaten up in DC, and I'll talk about that later. But it really has a lot to do with Los Angeles and what a big fat failure that show of power has been for Trump, even though a lot of y'all called it the beginning of the end. And a lot of y'all said Trump is able to do whatever he wants. Nobody can stop him when it came to Los Angeles. The people of Los Angeles have shown that they are going to stop him, that they are stopping him. It is not a coincidence, y'all, that Trump is beginning this bullshit in Washington, D.C. the same day that his trial is beginning in Los Angeles, where the Trump regime is being accused of violating the Posse Comitatus Act by sending troops into Los Angeles. Right, the Posse Comitatus Act says that the president is allowed to call out the National Guard into his federal service when the country is, quote, invaded when there is a rebellion or danger of a rebellion against the authority of the government or to execute the laws of the United States. The judge that is overseeing this case in Los Angeles today already said that the protests in Los Angeles fall far short of a rebellion. Los Angeles Mayor Bass, Governor Gavin Newsom, and the police chief for the LAPD all said they did not want or need federal troops. They had the protests under control. They were no big deal. This trial is going to be a bad scene for Donald Trump, I think, and he knows it. Donald Trump is a fragile would-be dictator who really thought Californians were just going to roll over if he sent in a couple hundred National Guard and Marines. He thought that it was going to be an easy win for him. And it wasn't, because the people are consistently resisting. Californians are consistently resisting. Americans all over the country are consistently resisting. We know Trump is really obsessed with controlling the military. We know he looks up to military-style dictators like Putin and Kim Jong-un. He was caught on camera recently saying that the American people should treat him like North Koreans treat their dictator, with the same kind of obedience and reverence. A man who has never served in the military wants to use our service members as pawns in order to enact his megalomaniacal vision in the United States of America. And it's not going well for him. He picked California first. He picked Los Angeles first because racism, and he thought that I'll pick a city that's like 40% Latinos, and that's going to make it a very incendiary situation, and will make it easier for me to justify expanding this kind of overreach to other cities. But that's not what's happening. Californians are consistently showing up in very public acts of nonviolent resistance, and they're not giving Trump any fuel for his fire. And they're fighting back in the courts, like the case that is starting today. And so Trump's, I'm going to go try this somewhere else. And he's using one of Elon Musk's Schittler youth getting beaten up by a couple of teenagers as the excuse. But it's not going to work, because just like the people are effectively, intelligently resisting in Los Angeles, and they will not roll over for fascists, we are already on day one, seeing folks in Washington, D.C. say the same thing. Fuck this shit. We are not rolling over for fascism.
We have some news right now. We have another big protest breaking out in D.C. Hundreds of people are currently marching across the city right behind me. As you can actually see, it's not as big as the one from this morning. It's a few hundred people. And what they're marching against is what Donald Trump's takeover of the Washington, D.C. Metropolitan Police Department. Here you can see them right behind me. And at the front of the protest is a
So all y'all dude bros sitting on here making content saying, we're cooked, it's all over, it's the end, it's the military takeover of the United States starting in DC. You already said that once about DC and you were wrong. You already said it about Los Angeles and you were wrong. You already said it about the national protests that we have had for No King's Day, for hands off, and you were wrong. Because while you sit there wallowing in defeat, engaging in anticipatory compliance with fascism, making content, going on lives to bemoan how it's all over as you sit there doing nothing to resist, the rest of us are not giving up, because we know that Donald Trump is not as powerful as you seem to think he is. We know that the true power lies with the American people. We know that we have got to come together and exercise that power. And when we do, as long as we keep resisting, as long as we keep fighting together for democracy, the fascists can't win. So why the fuck do you keep trying to hand Donald Trump a victory that he doesn't have? Why do you keep trying to hand over our democracy, our future, to the fascists?